Hello everybody, welcome back to F1 Manager 24, taking on Brawn GP for the second time. We're learning from our mistakes. We have 2 points on the board thanks to Daniel Ricciardo in the last Grand Prix in Jeddah, where Ollie Bearman struggled. 2 races, 2 front wings broken for Ollie Bearman. It's proving pretty difficult for him. But today we go into the Australian Grand Prix, where we are racing at Daniel Ricciardo's home Grand Prix, which will be very nice indeed. We do have some powertrain issues though for Ollie Bearman, but we're going to stick with it because we've got practice and we can use these buggered up parts in practice and then go from there. But Daniel Ricciardo proving to be somewhat more successful than Filip Drugovich. Who would have thought, hey? Who would have thought it as we restarted this series? I'm excited for where this is going. I know a few of you aren't happy that we started again, but I do think this is going to be better, and we are going to learn from our mistakes. So in terms of development then, we are designing a new chassis, underfloor and front wing, all which will be done relatively soon. We've got a bit of time to go on that. We are manufacturing some suspension just to give us a little bit more in the backlog. Is that the right word? In the warehouse. We'll just say the warehouse. The chassis, we've got 1 spare. There's 2, 1 on each car. Front wing, we've got 1 spare. Rear wing, we've got like 4 spare, which is great. Side pods, we've got 2 spare. Underfloors, we've got 2 spare. And suspension, we have 2 more spare there as well. So we could potentially do with another front wing. But given that we're designing one, do we want to manufacture just 1 more? It takes 3 days, 225k. Yeah, let's just be safe. Let's get another front wing number 1 just in the warehouse so that we can go with that. Right, race targets then. Daniel Ricciardo's doing pretty well. We're going to go 13th or higher for Daniel Ricciardo, and then Ollie Bearman just 20th, mate. Just get the car round, see how it does. We'll do practice, back for qualifying. Here we are then, ready for qualifying. A really good setup. 98% for Daniel Ricciardo, 94% for Ollie Bearman. So practice utilised very, very well, I would say. So we're going to get our components that we want back on the car, not our practice components. So Daniel Ricciardo looking pretty good there, 90, 94 and 91. Ollie Bearman obviously is going to have a change. 87% is the one that goes for him, 94% for his ERS. And yeah, the gearbox, we'll go for the 88% one. That 12%, it's got a few more practice sessions left in it. But this is qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. Can we get into Q3 for the first time? It's going to be a tough ask, but I do feel like we may have an opportunity. So I'll fly through Q1 and we'll come back at the end to see how the boys have done. So at the end of P1, both drivers are through. Ollie Bearman up in 10th. Lovely stuff from him. Daniel Ricciardo in 13th. We say goodbye to Iwasa with a grid penalty. Hulkenberg, Ocon, Logan Sargent, Stroll with a grid penalty, and Guan Yu Zhou as well. So both drivers into Q2. Ollie Bearman putting in a very good lap at the end on a new set of tyres. We are going to get him to run that set again, and we're going to start Daniel Ricciardo on his used set of tyres. So into Q2 we go for this one, and it's all about trying to time it right to avoid some of the traffic. So as some of the cars get underway into Q2, it's K-Mag that starts us off, coming out early doors. There's a nice gap there for Daniel Ricciardo. He'll get overtaken by Magnussen, but Magnussen should be far enough in front that he doesn't really get too far affected. And then Bearman should have been an easy pass there for Daniel Ricciardo. So Ricciardo crosses the line and goes 5th. Quite a bit of time off K-Mag, which is a worry. And Ollie Bearman, 27 plus 27 seconds. That can't be right. Is he coming in? No, that's better. Yeah, Ollie Bearman sets a really good time. Right, on to new tyres for... Oh, I don't want to do manual control. On to new tyres for both drivers. And then it's just about timing this right and getting a decent time in. So we are going to send out Daniel Ricciardo there. And I'm just sort of waiting to see what Verstappen's going to do. He's normally my go-to follow for a driver here, as Daniel Ricciardo overtakes Gasly in a decent point. Ricciardo only goes 14th. Not great for Danny Rick. It looks like he is going to be going out. There goes Perez. Let's send out Ollie Bearman there, see if he can get a time in behind George Russell. But yeah, it looks like Danny Ricciardo is going to be out because he's not going to have enough time to go and set another lap. So our hopes are on Ollie Bearman chasing George Russell. Can he get the slipstream? Bearman stays 11th. Drops to 13th. So it's 13th and 15th to start in the Australian Grand Prix. Ollie Bearman out-qualifying his teammate for the first time this season. Daniel Ricciardo's not going to be happy with that. Leclerc on pole, Verstappen second, Sergio Perez third. Then the two McLarens, Carlos Sainz, Hamilton, Alonso, Russell, K-Mag up there doing a really good run. Tsunoda, Albon, Bearman, Bottas, Ricciardo and Gasly is your final order with all those 5 that went out in Q1. So into the part of setting up the strategy. Now, there has been rumours, and we're going to try this with Daniel Ricciardo, that if you completely underfuel the car, add 1 lap, and then run in low fuel mode for the whole time, after the first lap anyway, after you do this original push, you can recover all your fuel and it is technically quicker and better on the engine. So we're going to try that for Danny Ricciardo, and then we're just going to do my normal tactic of underfueling for 3 laps with Ollie Bearman, and we'll see how the drivers compete, because our car is so much heavier. Before any developments we can get done, our car is so much heavier than everybody else. Underfueling is quite an advantage in the early stage because you sort of match the fuel level of everyone else, but obviously you don't push the engine as hard. Right, I'm going to sort out our strategies. We'll be back for the race. Okay, strategies done. This is what we're going with then. We're going for soft, hard, medium for Daniel Ricciardo and medium, hard, soft for Ollie Bearman. Ollie Bearman is getting 2 seconds quicker than the default strategy by doing that, and Daniel Ricciardo I think is 3 seconds quicker than the default strategy by doing that. Both of them pushing their hard tyres a little bit more, but we should be okay. Starting 15th and 13th, it's going to take some overtakes to get into the points. Maybe a safety car would help us out as well. But here we go then into the Australian Grand Prix around Albert Park. Excited about this one. Charles Leclerc on pole. We're waiting for 5 red lights and being held for quite a while. We are away. It's a really bad start for Ollie Bearman. Look at Daniel Ricciardo right on his arse on those soft tyres. Right, Ollie Bearman, you can have medium there, rarely defend. Just don't worry too much about it. And Daniel Ricciardo, we're not going to tell him to be too aggressive just yet, but I think later on he might have to be. Howard already gained a spot. He's overtaken Valtteri Bottas off the line, which is good. And he's just tucking in. So let's have a quick look at strategy. We've got Piastri running hards. He's the only hard runner, and then everybody else a mix of soft and mediums. Looks like Ollie Bearman maybe matching the front runners, which is never a bad thing if we pick that strategy right. Gasly has damage already. Russell with damage. Gasly and Stroll all with damage. So we shall see. Right, Danny Rick. Let's... Danny Rick's going to be naturally aggressive anyway. So I sort of feel like we can... Do we tell him to up his aggression? Yeah, why not on this first lap? Let's go for it. Be really aggressive. If he gets behind his teammate, we'll tell him to not be as aggressive. But he is going to go and have a look here, Danny Ricciardo. That's Alex Albon in front of him closing the door. He's going to send it up the inside. Daniel Ricciardo, can he make that one stick? He's trying to. Didn't quite get it done. Alex Albon with the better traction, although then Daniel Ricciardo gets it done. And now that he's behind his teammate, we'll tell him just to have a bit of that aggression down. Don't need to be so aggressive against your teammate, Daniel. And we'll see how that goes. Right, running conserve from now for Daniel. And we'll see how that goes. Ricciardo, great move around Albon. And it puts us up to 12th and 13th. So not too bad a start, to be honest. And we are in a good position here, and we're going to start managing our batteries as well, and we'll start managing our tyres as we need to in this one. Now, I should probably use team orders to let the soft tyre runner go through, but I think we're going to let that happen naturally. I don't know where's a good place, because what I don't want is Albon to jump through if we tell Bearman to get out the way, but because we've got Bearman on defend rarely, it should be okay. I'm tempted to tell Ricciardo to be aggressive to make sure he gets the move done. As you can see, the DRS here. Yeah, just keep focusing on the fight. That's fine. That's fine, Daniel. That's fine. We've got both of them behind each other at the moment. Tsunoda in front of us, then K-Mag and Russell. Russell's not going to have DRS, and he's got damage, so he should fall back in the order. I'm just wondering, do we do team orders to try and let... Yeah, see, Albon's right there. I don't want him to sneak through if we do team orders. We could try it down this DRS straight at the beginning of the lap. But I think he's just going to stop. I think normally it's not programmed well and they just stop. So I think this is what we're going to go with. Maybe we do ask... There's some moves happening in front of us which is going to cause a few issues as Russell does get overtaken And I think we can just see this through because we should both get past George Russell. Look at him lacking in pace. The DRS of everybody else is coming in as Daniel Ricciardo sends it up the inside of Ollie Bearman and does get ahead of his teammate. And we're going to tell him to be aggressive to get that move done on George Russell as soon as he can. And Daniel Ricciardo is having a look at George Russell down the DRS straight. Not sure he's going to get this one done just yet. We could give him a little bit of a battery push to get it done, but I don't think he's going to need it. And George Russell he's not quite a sitting duck here, but he's certainly struggling with that damage. And Ollie Bearman is still keeping pace with us as well, which is good for his medium tyres for sure. But have we overcooked these too much yet? No, they should be okay in the early stages. So George Russell hanging on. Let's give him a little bit of a battery boost and see if Daniel Ricciardo can get this done into the first turn. As George Russell is not really going defensive. He's sort of letting us have a chance here to throw it up the inside. Daniel Ricciardo says no at this point. But can Danny Rick get it done here? He deploys that. That's the difference with deploying the battery. He's going to get a double overtake, is he? No. K-Mag shuts the door and stops Daniel Ricciardo getting into the points. Forced a little bit wide, but he'll have the inside next on George Russell. And again, we're right on the back of K-Mag here. For a point for Daniel Ricciardo. He's doing a really good job. Let's not forget about Ollie Bearman. I think he can have a go at George Russell down here as well. And he does. Throws it up the inside. Lovely move from Ollie Bearman. Really good stuff there. Up to 11th and 12th. So Danny Rick going into another DRS zone is having a look at K-Mag. K-Mag going very defensive. He's losing time to Yuki Tsunoda out in front, which is surely going to make him a sitting duck on that start-finish straight when we get the next set of DRS. We'll actually ask Daniel Ricciardo to just drive in clean air as well if he's not looking like he's going to get the move done. I think we'll ask him to do that right now. Get in clean air right now. Pull out from the side of him. Come on, pull out from the side of him. That's not in clean air, is it? Jump down the right-hand side. No, Daniel. That is poor. You're not listening to me, Daniel. You're not listening to me. You've got to get it done now. There we go. He's going to get that one done. And he will pass K-Mag. And then it's all up to, can Ollie Bearman get it done as well? So Daniel Ricciardo on the softs doing well. Ollie Bearman on the mediums doing very well as well. We've actually got a little bit of battery we can utilise here for Ollie Bearman. Because Ricciardo's going to be a little bit of a sitting duck. So maybe we should battery deploy for him as well. Take ERS battle assist off. Just get him going. Then he can deploy his battery whenever he likes. And we'll try and get Ollie Bearman in here. Try and push Daniel Ricciardo away from K-Mag. Make him think about defending rather than attacking. And we shall see. Just need to keep an eye on the batteries though to make sure that both drivers have some left to fight with at the end of the lap. Go on, Ollie. Go on, Ollie. Oh, he just backed out of that one there. So we'll keep him on battle assist. We'll put Daniel back on it just in case Magnussen comes back in. But he is 1.2 seconds away. So he should be okay. Daniel Ricciardo's done a really good job of leaving K-Mag out of DRS. And now Ollie Bearman hopefully can make the move down this start-finish straight. It's been a frantic start, hasn't it, to the Australian Grand Prix? Overtakes absolutely everywhere. Ollie Bearman's going for it. And he's going to get that one done. Right. Lovely stuff. Up into 10th and 11th now, which is brilliant. And now we need to get Ollie Bearman, who's going to have another dose of DRS at this point, into range of Daniel Ricciardo, to be honest, because that is what we need to happen, and hopefully leave K-Mag behind. Right, DRS range is sorted for Ollie Bearman there. That is superb driving from both drivers. Absolutely love it. Okay, Danny Rick's got another move done as we're both closing in on Yuki Tsunoda as well. He just goes up the inside and passes his former V-Carb teammate, and Ollie Bearman's not far behind. And Ollie Bearman has set the quickest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Lovely. And Daniel Ricciardo is on the march, getting past Lewis Hamilton as well, utilising the DRS round the outside. A lovely move from the Aussie driver in his home Grand Prix. So Ollie Bearman has overtaken Yuki Tsunoda with the use of DRS as well into the first turn, so gets another burst of DRS after that as well. He is up into 10th in a point as well. So Daniel Ricciardo dives into the pits following in Sainz and Alonso. Yuki Tsunoda is going to follow him in as well. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo pitting from, I think it was 9th in the end, maybe 8th. But he's going to come in and there's going to be a bit of traffic here, so hopefully it's a good stop. And we get him out nice and quickly. He's being held, but 2.8 isn't too bad. He still comes out behind Fernando Alonso. Actually closer to Fernando Alonso than when he went in, which was lovely stuff indeed. That puts Behrman up into 7th, but obviously he's got a pit stop just about to happen. Ricciardo comes out in the middle of a battle between some of the back runners, but it does mean he'll get DRS, which is a good thing for him. Hopefully he warms those tyres up quickly enough. Behrman's got a few more laps before he pits. We may have to just consider just easing off his tyres a little bit to make sure we can get to that stint for the hard tyre. But yeah, Behrman's strategy is a little bit more risky running close to the edge of the tyre life. So Ollie Behrman will just about be coming in for his stop now as Daniel Ricciardo is overtaking George Russell, whose issue has got worse. Ollie Behrman is sort of the last of the pits that's happening. On those medium tyres, we've run them quite far. He's going to go onto a hard set now as well. Obviously, he's going to have the joy of ending on a set of softs, and it's a 2.9 stop, not too bad. He should, hopefully, come out in front of K-Mag. It's going to be pretty close. But yeah, he is going to get out in front of Kevin Magnussen. So a good stop there for Ollie Behrman. 10th and 12th. Not too shabby at all at the moment. We have a safety car. Someone near the back has caused an issue. Ollie Behrman and Daniel Ricciardo back in. Now both of them are halfway through. I mean, he's only just gone on hards. I don't think there's much we can do. We haven't got another set of mediums to put on. Daniel has, but he's then not going to make it to the end. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Let's have a quick look at what's caused the safety car. It's Alex Albon down in 15th. Does he just get shunted from the back? Yes, he does. He just gets absolutely nailed from the back. I think it was Pierre Gasly, but not 100% sure. Alex Albon is out and Stroll is out. Okay, so we're 9th and 12th. Iwasa is pitting off the mediums, which is interesting. But it is a safety car, so we can just... This is going to help with our fuel conservation, definitely. We can just make sure... I think all of this stuff gets done automatically anyway, but... So Iwasa is going to be pitting from the mediums onto the hards, I'd imagine. No, he's going for a set of... Oh yeah, onto the hards. Ocon's going mediums to hards. Gasly will be going medium to hard. Zhou will be going medium to hard. Okay, so that's not too bad. Verstappen will be an interesting one to see if he pits. As you can see, Stroll's crashed over there. So let's see if Max Verstappen is going to pit as well. I assume he is. He is. He's going to come off his softs to go onto hard. So everyone is now going to hards till the end, I imagine. Whereas we are just through our hard stint. So we are getting screwed over by this a little bit. But I think we stick with the strategy and hope that our fresh tyres towards the end of the race sort us out. We can probably put those mediums on a little bit later than expected as well, because we're going to have some time here. But Ricciardo is there. Hamilton didn't pit. Alonso has pit. So we are going to gain a place over Alonso. Behrman may gain some places as well, but obviously they're going to be on fresh tyres. Piastri went mediums. Yeah, okay. This is interesting. This is very, very interesting. Russell pitting going on to hards. Tsunoda comes out on mediums. Alonso on hards as well. Alright, we have to stay out. The strategy doesn't really allow us to do anything else. So safety car is only coming in this lap. It's actually gained us fuel as well. So we need to get some pressure in these hard tyres. I think we have to just sort of go for it, right, on attack. See how it goes. So Daniel Ricciardo as well. You have to stay on conserve because you've still got loads of under-fueling to do. But here we go then on the restart. Let's dive on board with Daniel Ricciardo behind Lewis Hamilton. Obviously, all of these people in front of us have fresh tyres. But you never know. You never know. Daniel Ricciardo up in 8th, so getting, 4 points at the moment, which is awesome. Behrman in 11th, only a place off Tsunoda on the points. So it's not looking too bad for Brawn as it stands. But let's see. Let's get Daniel Ricciardo back on aggressive and see what he can do from this restart. And we'll keep Ollie Behrman on his same thing. Medium aggression, rarely defend. We don't want him to be putting up too much of a fight and causing incidents. So let's see. We'll keep an eye on the tyre temperatures. The restart so far has been pretty uneventful. Everyone sort of stayed where they are. A few switching of positions at the back. But yeah, not too bad. As it currently stands, Daniel Ricciardo is losing. Well, I'm expecting us to potentially lose a place to Alonso because he's on fresh tyres and in a faster car. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. But the safety car restart, yeah, uneventful so far. Hamilton losing pace to the front 6, so that's good for us. We may have the chance of a move on Lewis Hamilton. But then we're going to be short of the pace of the front 6, and it'll just be a DRS swap every single lap, I imagine, between us and Hamilton. But we shall see. We've already left K-Mag for dead, which is awesome from the back. That's really good for Ollie Behrman for that to happen early on. No threat from K-Mag from behind Ollie Behrman, so that's good. Tyres are slightly starting to get into the warm side of things, but we'll keep them pushing for a little bit longer. Obviously, Ollie Behrman's got relatively new hards anyway. It's Daniel Ricciardo that's close to his push point and tyre wear, but we are just going to have to keep an eye on the tyre temps. I do think they're more effective this year if you overheat or have them undercooled, so we shall see. Ollie Behrman just about inside that 1 second. I'm not sure he got DRS on that point, but we do need to manage everything for the rest of this race. Daniel Ricciardo up in 8th, still on the back of Lewis Hamilton doing well. Ollie Behrman 11th on the back of Yuki Tsunoda. So big news at the moment. George Russell has a major mechanical fault. I don't know if he's not spitting oil or fumes anywhere just yet. That's a good view, isn't it, to see all the battles that are happening. He's actually going for a move, but he does have a big red flag, so we'll see how that goes. So Ollie Behrman gets the move done on Yuki Tsunoda. It's a big issue there. I think Yuki Tsunoda got pushed a little bit wide by Fernando Alonso, but you can see how close this is. I'm worried with our pit stop, though, because we're going to drop a lot further back. So Daniel Ricciardo's in for his second stop. This is the bit I'm worried about, because we are still quite bunched up with the drivers in front. But we need to just we're going to have to make up quite a lot of time on these fresh mediums, which we should be able to do. Everyone else is running pretty knackered hards. But yeah, Daniel Ricciardo coming out right at the back in these battles. He'll very quickly catch up to the Kick Saubers, but he's going to have to force his way through. So we're going to keep him on his attacking strategy. We're going to keep him on aggressive for his overtake aggression and see what he can do. It's been a decent race so far. We just need to make sure it works. Ollie Behrman has caught up to Lewis Hamilton as well, which is really good for Ollie Behrman. Running up in 9th, but again, it will have a pit stop onto those softs to finish. So it should be pretty good for him as well. So Ollie Behrman, who is right on the back of Lewis Hamilton, coming in for his final stop onto the soft. So this should be his quickest stint. He is going to be running them at a slightly lower pace, but that should still make him one of the fastest cars on track, and no traffic in the pit lane. Daniel Ricciardo cutting through the back markers, by the way, up to 15th, already on the back of George Russell, who's got that massive issue. So Daniel Ricciardo doing a fantastic job on those mediums. Ollie Behrman is out and away, 2.7 seconds. He's actually going to come out in a very good position here, Ollie Behrman. He's going to come out right in front of his teammate, battling with George Russell. So Ollie Behrman back out in 12th on fresh tyres. This is going to be a really interesting end to the race. Sainz came in for fresh mediums as well, so he's going to have some tyres at left. But I've got a feeling all these people in front are going to pit again. It's just whether we can take advantage of it. And we're going to see how this goes. But at the moment, for both Brawn drivers, it's not looking too bad at all, as Ricciardo does pass George Russell. I actually missed that one in the background. So we'll have a quick look at that one here. Is down into the hard right-hander, gets that done. And we should get that Alpine in front as well. And then it will be the two Brawn teammates battling each other. And we'll see what happens in that one. But Behrman 2 seconds off Iwasa. Ocon, we could be on for double points here. We could be on for potential double points, as Ricciardo is tracking down his teammate. Now we will just tell him to ease off a little bit of the aggressive nature of what we're doing. Obviously his tyres are in temperature, which is probably why he's catching Ollie Behrman so quickly, compared to Behrman, who's still trying to get temperature in his tyres. And Ricciardo does pass his teammate, which means we'll put him back onto that high aggression strategy, which appears to be working quite well with Daniel Ricciardo. But I'm happy with our drivers now, because I think Ricciardo can pull Ollie Behrman through into potential points paying positions here. It all just depends on what sort of strategy they go for the final pit stop of the race. So Ollie Behrman's got a move done here on his teammate and on Ocon around the outside of both of them. Ollie Behrman goes up to 9th, and Daniel Ricciardo is now 2nd of our drivers. Right, our drivers are having a right ding-dong battle. There's 12 laps to go. Ricciardo in 9th, Behrman in 10th. We are 9 seconds off Charles Leclerc. But a lot of these front runners still haven't pitted. Charles Leclerc has pitted for fresh softs. I imagine they're all going to go on softs if they've got them available. But yeah, the two Brawn drivers doing really well. Like, as long as they keep DRS switching and they don't go for stupidly aggressive overtakes, then I'm happy. I think if we're going to go... They're really close to each other, so we're actually going to go both of them on low. That's what we're going to go with. And Behrman has now got the tyres up to temperature. And, yeah, we're going to let them race, but we're not going to do too aggressive. 3 seconds behind is Tsunoda, and we're like, yeah, quite a way off. Although Piastri is now pitting. Piastri's pitting. He's going to come out on fresh tyres, but Ricciardo, they might get him here. Oh, I'm not sure. It's going to be very close. Oscar Piastri is going to come out, and the Brawn drivers do go past the McLaren driver. Interesting. Interesting. So Behrman, who is now slightly behind, we're just going to put him up to a little... Oh, no, we're not, because moves are happening, and Behrman goes around the outside of Daniel Ricciardo. These two are enjoying a good little tussle here, and it's going to be interesting getting to the end of the race. Both of them are going to have minimal tyre wear left, but... So far, so good. 8th and 9th as we keep Piastri behind. Daniel Ricciardo should be able to defend Piastri reasonably well, to be honest. We have got a 1 second gap as well. So, Daniel... Oh, yeah, we're not limited by fuel. That's fine. Daniel Ricciardo is going to have to do some defending, and we may deploy his battery. Let's sit on board with Daniel Ricciardo, because I really want to get him back into that 1 second gap. Oscar Piastri is so close behind him. I think Oscar Piastri is going to get a move done here to move up. Yeah, he is. So let's go back into neutral. We'll just sit that on battle assist and hope that we can make this happen. Hamilton now pits. There's another position we may get, because Hamilton is in off his used hard tyres onto those soft tyres. Ollie Behrman may just be a little bit too far away, but at the moment it's 8th and 10th, so good racing from Brawn. Have we gone to our new tyres too early, though? That is the question, as Hamilton is going to come out behind absolutely everybody, including... Is that Iwasa? No, that must be a lap car. No, it was Tsunoda. He's going to be behind Tsunoda as well. So, yeah, quite an interesting race developing here. So, Yuki Tsunoda, as we watch in 2x speed, let me just lower that, has caught us. His new fresh softs are giving him a little bit of an edge on both of our drivers at the moment. But I'm hoping that between us we can sort of like box him in and not allow him to have a move. Although, oh, we get pushed wide. That's Ollie Behrman getting pushed wide there. He does drop down to 10th. Hamilton's going to have fresh softs as well. But we shall see. It does give Ollie Behrman the DRS behind these two. But you'd imagine we might have one driver drop out of the points. It's going to be very, very close. But we'll have to wait and see, because Tsunoda's going to have a go at Daniel Ricciardo, you imagine. We are managing the tyres well. It's just, yeah. I think Hamilton's going to get a Behrman. Ricciardo may be able to hold on to 10th, 9th or 10th. We'll have to wait and see. 8 laps to go. So Ollie Behrman starts his final lap as Pierre Gasly retires from the Grand Prix. He is in 10th. Ricciardo is in 11th. It's actually been a really good race from Ollie Behrman. Daniel Ricciardo can feel a little bit unlucky. He got caught up in a bit of traffic as Tsunoda went past, so he lost a lot of time to Ollie Behrman. But I don't think anyone's going to begrudge Ollie Behrman picking up a point, his first point in F1, and he's raced really well. We were screwed over a little bit by the strategy with the safety car happening when it did, because we had just gone on to our hards, and a lot of people were coming to the end of their first stint, so they could put on the hards and it allowed them to have the soft tyre at the end. But Ollie Behrman is going to be finishing, unless something drastic happens in these last half of the Grand Prix, in 10th, picking up a point. Daniel Ricciardo is going to be 11th. We're going to get the payout for both drivers. Safety car is deployed, so we will be finishing under safety car after something has happened, and hopefully it is not either of our drivers. I don't think it is. We're not getting any reports of it being our drivers. Verstappen does win. Ricciardo is still going. Behrman is still going. So we will be finishing technically under the safety car. But there is Ollie Behrman round the final corner to bring this one home and pick up a point in F1. Tsunoda crosses the line in 9th. Behrman takes 10th. And Daniel Ricciardo will be taking 11th. And it's a great day for Brawn GP. Two cars inside the top 11 fighting for a point. Really good. At one point, we were up to 7th and 8th. But I think it was a bit too much to ask for. But great driving from both the boys. Well done. So Max Verstappen wins it. Carlos Sainz ends up getting second. Charles Leclerc drops all the way down to 4th. Fernando Alonso up 2 to 6th. Oliver Bearman up 3 to 10th. And Daniel Ricciardo up 4 to 11th. So a really, really good race. And Gasly, Albon and Lance Stroll all failing to finish in that one. Daniel Ricciardo sits in 10th with 2 points. Oliver Bearman climbs 7 places to 14th with 2 points. And we remain in 6th place. We are 1 point ahead of RB in that 6th place, thanks to Ollie Bearman's point, which is absolutely superb. In terms of pit stops, we're nowhere near the quickest just yet. In fact, we are not in the top 10, which means we're number 11. So some work to do on pit stops, but not too bad. Not too bad there. 2.5 and 2.7. All good. Both race targets pay out, which is glorious, £895,000. As I said, the main thing from this series is that we're learning from the last series, which was ultimately a complete failure. And Ollie Bearman goes up to a 75 as well, which is lovely indeed. Our manufacturer is complete for that spare front wing, and we head off to Japan for our next one. As oh yes, we had a design centre fire, which means our projects got delayed a little bit. But a good race, a good result for us there in Australia, which was really, really good. Very happy with that, as there you go. Good thing we made a new front wing, because Daniel Ricciardo needs a new front wing. In terms of our development then, 5 days for our underfloor, 10 days for our chassis, and 15 days for the front wing as well. So really all coming together sort of nicely is what I think you would imagine, is what I would say. So we have Japan coming up next. I will see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments down below. Subscribe if you're new, and leave a like if you enjoyed it. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.